All right, we got a lot going on this episode. Essentially what we want to do is pull out the rest of the wheelhouse that's left of it down here and fit in the new one with sheet metal screws. So hopefully we can get that done. And it'll be a good episode. No, this is not a whiskey sour if anybody's wondering. It's actually, well, it's essentially a whiskey sour, but instead of whiskey, it's got iced tea in it because, you know, shouldn't mix alcohol and power equipment. Be responsible. What's up, guys? Welcome to Grease Rookie Garage. If you're new to the channel and you end up liking what you see, please consider subscribing, commenting, sharing, liking. Any of that stuff would be incredibly helpful. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the channel, you're probably noticing that I've done some upgrades around the garage. Yes, I'm trying to make it look a little bit nicer. Still a work in progress, but we're getting there. Which brings me to my next point, which is this guy hanging out right back here. Let's go have a look-see at this. Hey, Nala, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yes, you're being pretty. You're being pretty. Now check this out. This is very similar to the yellow poster that I showed you guys a few weeks ago. This is the illustration that I did a few episodes ago that I made for shirts and a poster design. And I told you guys one of the reasons I did this was so that I could do a giveaway. And I am doing a giveaway this episode of this design, but it's the original poster I showed you a couple weeks ago with the yellow background, not the orange background. I will be giving away this poster, the Mustang Madness poster. There it is in its entirety. So comment on this video for your chance to win. You don't have to be subscribed, but if you were subscribed, that would be awesome. Much appreciated. Anyway, subscribe. I gotta go back and check. I think you have to be over 18 technically in order for me to ship this to you and to have this contest. I also have to say no purchase necessary, which there is no purchase necessary. And YouTube is not affiliated with this contest whatsoever. I am just doing it on their platform. All right, all that being said, let's jump into the work. So basically all that's left of the wheelhouse is this little section pinched right in here, right there. And then this little patched, mangled up area. I'm not 100% sure what this area should look like. I'm fairly certain that the rocker panel should come out and wrap around. Yeah, no, I guess that's probably about right. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, we need to get this out, this piece off, and then we can start playing around with putting the wheelhouse in. Now I'm realizing with the quarter panel still on, I can't do much with putting sheet metal screws in to hold that in place. At least at this point I'm not going to, because that all interacts, and before I start securing that down, we need to get the new quarter panel on, which is hiding over here. So we've got a lot to do. And before I get the quarter panel on, I've got to rebuild this door hinge so that this is lined up correctly. Maybe we'll get into that this episode, maybe not, who knows. But for now, let's jump into this. All right, so thanks to Barry at Joe Daddy's Garage, I took these screenshots off of one of his videos where he was doing similar work, and I have an idea of what this area, how it goes together, what metal needs to be removed, so that's very helpful. Little things like this I really like doing, getting in here and trying to figure out how somebody made a repair and how things need to be taken apart. Why? I guess I just try to enjoy every aspect of what I'm doing. Oops, sorry, Noah. All right, we're just gonna go, oh, that was easy enough. Like I said, we're just gonna go around and bust those out, but that was not obviously loaded in there very well. Well, that made life easier. To the scrapyard. Everything's looking in there. You guys probably can't see that very well in the camera, but it looks pretty darn good in there. Happy with that. Whew, that stinks. I think, oh, that was something dead, I think I just sucked up a dead mouse. That was terrible. Whew. Ah, there's definitely a tail and spine in there. There's some of his food probably from, oh God, who knows how long he was in there. Whew. He was probably just trying to get that acorn home and got lost in the depths of a rocker panel. Sorry, little dude. We're close to fitting it in. I removed this little piece here and I was able to get that. Goes in like this, I think, is how it was in there. Yeah, and I was able to drill this out by just taking some, I just took some pieces of 2x4, stacked it in there like so, had more in there, and then I was able to drill and press up against this side because this piece is a little flimsy, and yeah, that worked very well. So before I try to fit this in for the first time, I'm gonna just go along here and clean up some of the metal, the leftover bits of the wheelhouse, the previous wheelhouse, and then we will try to, well, at least get an idea of how that's gonna fit. It's getting exciting. Could be fitting a panel. Panel fitment day. It needs a name. It's panel fitment day. It needs a name. It deserves a name because it's right up there with like field day from middle school. I don't know if those who are not indigenous to PA, if that's the actual thing outside of Pennsylvania, but field day is awesome when you're in middle school, so. Panel fitment day it is. Okay, so I have no idea how these were originally installed and if they were even installed together, inner and outer wheelhouse, when they were put in the car. They could have been installed separately. Outer wheelhouse went in first, then the inner wheelhouse, or what have you. The first thing I'm going to do is try taking out the trunk floor pan that I have in there. Panel fitment day, take 2. Whoa, something is way off. Not sure about this. I don't like panel fitment day. So here's the reality of the situation, I suppose, is either I don't know how to install this or this panel is going to need some modifying. So there may be a situation developing here. I think in order to install this, I'm going to have to drill the spot welds and split the two to get it in. And I would assume that's more similar to how it was done in the factory. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm gonna have to do some research, and panel fitment day was not a success. I mean, it was a success because I'm learning here, figuring it out, but it's hard to chalk it up as a success. But before we go, I was looking, and it has been since March. I think March 26th or 27th was the last time I fired up the Iron 6, and we've gotten quite a bit more subscribers since then. So a lot of you probably haven't even heard this thing start, and she does start, hopefully. It might not now because I've neglected her so long. But anyway, let's give that a shot. Just like the old week of startups. Okay, so for those of you that may be new to the channel or don't know why, see if I can get this open one-handed. All right, so for those of you that don't know why I call this car the Iron 6, it is because she has a straight 6 motor. It makes sense, right? I have no intentions of upgrading. Whenever I first bought the car, I was like, you know what, we'll put a V8 engine in it at some point, but I've grown to love this engine. There's a lot of work involved whenever you upgrade to a V8. The suspension, I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it than just swapping the motor out. And for beginners like me, these are very reliable, torquey engines that are great first engines to work on. They're fairly simple, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're awesome. I've fallen in love with this engine. We got to give more love to the straight six engines. For those of us that don't have money. I mean, for those of us that love them. Honestly, I'm just kidding. I really do love this engine. So first things first, we got to fill her sippy cup here. This is where she drinks from. Got to get her some Go Juice. And we're gonna put the battery, we're gonna help the battery out because I had some problems with this. And hopefully, without too much effort, she'll start up for us. It's been like March 27th, I think, was the last we started this up. So we're gonna pump her more than a few times before we turn the key. And hopefully, with a little straight six magic, she will fire up for us. Fingers crossed. Battery. Wait 15, we'll be back. Round two. I love the way she sounds. Obviously, she doesn't have a muffler on her right now, but still, it does not sound bad for a straight six at all. Like I said, this is a great, reliable engine and a good engine for anybody that's new to this kind of stuff. She's about out of gas in the sippy cup. Applesauce jar is about empty. How many months is that? March, April, May, June, July, August. So after 5 months, almost 5 months of sitting without being started up, aside from a minor battery issue, she fired right up for the most part. I mean, took a few turns, but not giving me any trouble. And that's just another reason why I love, well, why I've come to love these straight six engines in these old Mustangs. For someone that's just looking for something that's fun to drive, I see no need to get a V8. If you're not like a speed guy, which I don't really care too much about speed. So, yeah. She's good to me. So that is everything I have for this episode. I would try to, well, I'm not willing to try to forcefully fit that wheelhouse. I want to do some more research and figure out the best approach, which I'm thinking I'm gonna have to cut it in half, separate the two wheelhouses and put them in that way. But we'll see. I'll do some research and we'll see where we get this coming week. So, guys, until the next episode, stay driven.